Imagine a joyous wedding celebration in Cana. Family and friends gathered to celebrate. There was music, laughter, and dancing. Everyone was having a wonderful time. But then, something unexpected happened. The wine ran out. This was a big problem. Wine was an important part of celebrations in those days. It was a sign of hospitality and joy. Running out of wine would bring shame on the wedding host. People would think they had not planned well. A sense of worry settled over the celebration. What would they do? Little did they know that Jesus, the Son of God, was among the guests. He was about to reveal his glory in a miraculous way. Mary, Jesus' mother, was also at the wedding. It was a joyous occasion, filled with laughter, music, and the clinking of glasses. The atmosphere was vibrant, and everyone was in high spirits, celebrating the union of two souls. Mary, amidst the celebration, was observant and attentive to the needs around her. She saw the problem and knew that Jesus could help. The wine had run out, a significant issue at a wedding feast, as it could bring embarrassment to the hosts. Mary, with her compassionate heart, felt the urgency of the situation. She knew that this was more than just a social faux pas. It was a moment where her son's divine nature could shine. Mary had great faith in her son. She had witnessed his wisdom and kindness throughout his life. Her faith was not just in his abilities but in his heart. She knew that Jesus cared deeply for people and their needs. Her serene expression reflected her unwavering trust in him. She believed that he had the power to do extraordinary things. Her hope was not based on mere wishful thinking but on a deep understanding of who Jesus was. She had seen glimpses of his divine nature and knew that he could transform any situation. Her hopeful look was a testament to her belief in his miraculous abilities. She quietly approached Jesus and told him about the wine shortage. In her gentle and humble manner, she brought the issue to his attention. She didn't make a scene or draw attention to herself. Instead, she trusted that Jesus would understand the gravity of the situation and respond with compassion. "They have no more wine," she simply said, trusting in his love and compassion. Her words were few but filled with meaning. She knew that Jesus would grasp the significance of the problem and that his heart would be moved to act. Her calm expression showed her confidence in his response. Mary didn't tell Jesus what to do. She didn't come with a plan or a solution. Instead, she presented the problem and left it in his hands. Her humility was evident in her approach. She respected his wisdom and trusted that he would know the best course of action. She didn't demand a solution. There was no urgency in her voice, no pressure. She simply laid the problem before him and waited. Her patience was a reflection of her deep trust in Jesus. She knew that he would act in his own time and in his own way. She simply presented the problem to him. Her faith was not in the specifics of how he would solve it but in his willingness to act. She believed that he cared enough to intervene and that his intervention would be perfect. Her faith was in Jesus' willingness to act. She had seen his compassion and love in action before. She knew that he would not ignore the plight of the wedding hosts. Her confidence was in his character and his love for people. Then she turned to the servants and said, "Do whatever he tells you." Her instructions were simple yet profound. She trusted that whatever Jesus decided to do would be the right thing. Her faith was not just in his power but in his wisdom and goodness. Mary's words were full of trust and expectation. She anticipated that Jesus would do something remarkable. Her faith was active, not passive. She prepared the servants to follow his instructions, knowing that a miracle was about to unfold. She knew that Jesus would do something amazing. Her certainty was not based on past experiences alone, but on her deep relationship with him. She had seen his heart and knew that he would not let the situation remain unresolved. Her anticipation was a reflection of her deep faith in his divine nature. Jesus saw the distress of the wedding host. The atmosphere was tense, with whispers of concern spreading among the guests. The joy of the celebration was overshadowed by the looming crisis. His mother, Mary, approached him with a look of urgency. She knew her son could help, even if she didn't fully understand how. She pleaded with him, her eyes filled with hope and trust. Jesus, seeing the worry etched on her face, was moved with compassion. He felt the weight of the moment and the expectations placed upon him. He replied to his mother, "My time has not yet come." His voice was calm, yet there was a depth of understanding in his words. He knew the significance of what was being asked. Yet, his tone was gentle, not dismissive. He understood her concern and the potential embarrassment for the hosts. His heart was moved by her faith in him. Nearby stood 6 large stone jars, typically used for Jewish ceremonial washing. These jars, made of stone, were a common sight in Jewish households, used for purification rituals. Jesus instructed the servants, "Fill the jars with water." The servants, though puzzled, obeyed immediately. They trusted Jesus, even if they didn't understand his intentions. They filled the jars to the brim, their hearts probably filled with a mix of confusion and anticipation. They wondered what Jesus was planning, but they followed his instructions without question. Jesus then directed them, "Now draw some out and take it to the master of the banquet." The servants, still unsure of what was happening, did as they were told. They had no idea what was about to happen, but they trusted Jesus and followed his instructions. As they carried the water to the master of the banquet, they could feel the weight of the moment. The master of the banquet tasted the water that had been turned into wine. He was astonished and called the bridegroom aside, praising the quality of the wine. The guests, unaware of the miracle that had just occurred, rejoiced as the celebration continued. This was the first of the signs through which Jesus revealed his glory, and his disciples believed in him. The servants, still unaware of the miracle, presented the drawn water to the master of the banquet. They had followed Jesus' instructions without question, filling the stone jars with water, and then drawing some out to take to the master. Their minds were likely filled with curiosity and perhaps a bit of apprehension, wondering what the master would say about the water they had just served. As he tasted the liquid, his eyes widened in surprise. The master of the banquet was an experienced man, well-versed in the quality of wines. He knew immediately that what he was tasting was no ordinary wine. It was exquisite, far superior to anything he had ever tasted at a wedding feast. The rich aroma and the perfect balance of flavors left him momentarily speechless. It was no longer water but the finest wine he had ever tasted. The transformation was so complete and so perfect that it defied all logic and understanding. The master of the banquet could not fathom how such a miraculous change had occurred. He savored the wine, letting its rich flavors linger on his palate, and marveled at the extraordinary quality of the drink. He was astonished by its quality and called the bridegroom, praising him for saving the best wine until last. In the customs of the time, the best wine was usually served first, and the lesser quality wine was brought out later when the guests' senses were dulled. But here, the master of the banquet found the best wine served at the end, a gesture that was both surprising and delightful. The bridegroom was just as surprised as the master of the banquet. He had no idea where this exceptional wine had come from. The bridegroom had been concerned about running out of wine, a potential embarrassment at his wedding feast, yet now, he was being praised for his supposed wisdom and generosity in saving the best wine for last. He had no idea where this superior wine had come from. The bridegroom looked around, puzzled and curious, trying to understand how such a thing could have happened. He questioned the servants, but they only shrugged, unable to explain the miraculous transformation that had taken place. Only Jesus, his disciples, and the servants knew the truth. They had witnessed the miracle firsthand, seeing the water turn into wine at Jesus' command. The servants in particular were in awe, realizing that they had been part of something extraordinary. Jesus' disciples too were filled with wonder and reverence, understanding that they were in the presence of someone truly divine. This miracle, the transformation of water into wine, was Jesus' first public display of divine power. It was a moment that marked the beginning of his ministry, a sign that he was no ordinary man but the Son of God. The miracle was a testament to his divine authority and his ability to bring about change in the most unexpected ways. It was a sign that he was the Messiah, the Son of God. This first miracle at the wedding in Cana was a powerful declaration of his identity and mission. It was a moment that would be remembered by all who witnessed it, a sign of the divine power that Jesus possessed and the incredible things that were yet to come. Section 5, Faith in Action. The miracle at Cana teaches us about the power of faith in action. Mary believed in Jesus, even when he said his time had not yet come. She trusted that he would act according to his perfect will and timing. We too can trust in Jesus, even when we don't understand his ways. Faith is not just about believing, it's about acting on that belief. Mary's faith was evident in her instruction to the servants, "Do whatever he tells you." Like Mary, we are called to act on our faith, trusting that God will work through us. Section 6, Obedience brings blessings. The servants at the wedding played a crucial role in the miracle. They obeyed Jesus' instructions without question, even though they didn't fully understand. Their obedience was a testament to their faith and their willingness to serve. Obedience is a key principle in experiencing God's blessings. When we obey God's commands, even when they seem strange or difficult, we open ourselves to His miraculous work in our lives. Section 7. God's perfect timing. Jesus initially said, "My time has not yet come." He was referring to the appointed time for His ministry to be fully revealed. However, He still chose to perform the miracle, demonstrating that God's timing is perfect. We may face situations where we desire God's intervention, and it feels like He's taking too long, but God is never early, and He is never late. He acts at the perfect time, according to His divine plan. Section 8. The abundance of God's grace. The miracle at Cana wasn't just about solving a problem, it was about abundance. Jesus didn't just provide enough wine to get by, He provided an overflowing supply of the very best wine. This miracle points to the boundless generosity of God. He delights in showering us with His blessings, often exceeding our expectations. Just as He turned water into wine, He can transform our lives in ways we never thought possible. Section 9. A message of hope and joy. The miracle at Cana is a testament to God's love, power, and faithfulness. It's a message of hope for those who are struggling, a reminder that nothing is impossible with God. Just as He brought joy to the wedding celebration, He desires to fill our lives with His joy. When we face challenges, let us remember the miracle at Cana. Let us trust in God's timing, obey His commands, and have faith that He will turn our water into wine, transforming our struggles into triumphs and filling our lives with His abundant blessings.